Well, to something that you would consider maritime security or insecurity in terms of our resources, crew members of two Chinese vessels seized by the Kenyan Coast Guard 2 weeks ago and escorted to the port of Mombasa claimed the vessels were cleared to be in Kenyan waters. The Kenyan Maritime Authority, on the other hand, maintains that the vessels did not meet the standards required. The two fishing vessels owned by Zhejiang Hairong Ocean Fisheries, a company that had entered into a business venture with a locally owned Everland Foods Limited to conduct fishing in Kenya's territorial waters. However, what is not clear is how the two vessels were intercepted and detained by Kenyan authorities despite being cleared from Iran and claiming to have applied for fishing licenses and other safety certificates as required by maritime law. Kevin Mutai tells us more.
The two Chinese vessels, Hanrong 108 and Hanrong 109, are fishing vessels from Iran and were in the country to conduct large-scale fishing. But since their arrival almost 2 weeks ago, the ships are lying at Kilindini anchorage in Mombasa after they were intercepted in Malindi by the Kenya Coast Guard Services. A locally owned company, Everland Foods Limited, claims that the vessels have been detained for breaching the law despite engaging Kenyan authorities even before the two vessels left the port of Abbas in Iran. According to documents seen by NTV, two officials from the Kenya Fisheries Services and another from the Kenya Maritime Authority were facilitated to go to Iran to conduct inspection on the two vessels in February this year, and the officials recommended their registration here in the country. The said vessels were then awaiting for the second inspection, which was supposed to be conducted in Malindi. And on 13th May 2019, Everland Foods Limited wrote to the Kenya Fisheries Service, the Kenya Ports Authority, the Kenya Immigration Services, and the Ports Health, informing them that the vessels had docked in Malindi, only to be detained 5 days later. 20 crew on board the two vessels, 13 Chinese and 7 Indian nationals were also detained on grounds that they did not have travel documentation.
It will take a bit of time to do the inspection. But the first breach is that vessel was supposed to come to Mombasa and not Malindi as the first port of call.
The crew on board protests, saying that their being in Malindi was fully accepted by the Kenyan authorities and that they even received docking coordinates from the Kenya Ports Authority.
With respect to the Maritime Authority mandate is to ensure that these vessels first they have the proper documentation for them to operate.
The Chinese company Zhejiang Hairong Ocean Fisheries and Everland Foods Limited had applied for a license from Kenya Fisheries Limited and registration by the Kenya Maritime Authority to explore fishing beyond 12 nautical miles within Kenya's exclusive economic zone. The two vessels were given a green light to be used for golden crabs and lobsters fishing. The fishing regulator had, however, restricted the two companies from bringing in 2 more vessels meant for catching snappers and groupers because the species are classified as endangered in Kenya's territorial waters. The Hanrong 108 and Hanrong 109 will remain detained until they are registered and a certificate of registry is issued. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.